All right, Tom, I think we are good to go here to start the FOS training for this year. Are you seeing the screen that I'm sharing?
Yes.
You are. Okay, good. All right, we can begin. Thank you, Tom McGreevy, for being our Gathering Waters District Friends of Scouting Chair and also the Bay Lakes Council Friends of Scouting Chair as well. Thank you so much for taking on those roles. Let's roll into what's new for this year.
Excellent. Well, first, thanks everybody for helping us out with Friends of Scouting again. This is an important fundraiser for the council, and it helps fund a lot of the things that are behind the scenes to help make Scouting a fantastic program for all of us to enjoy. You move to the next one. So the goals this year, the overall council goal is $245,500. Our Gathering Waters district goal is 62,500. Help me out here, Jason. I believe that's right in the same ballpark as it has been the last couple of years. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
give or take a few thousand, but yeah, it's about right a bit around that area. During COVID, we did 71,000 due to the extra money that came out from COVID around the nation. But yeah, that's about what we normally do, 62 to 65, somewhere in there.
So what Jason is saying, we've been very successful in achieving this goal as well the last couple of years. So we look forward to achieving it again. Okay. All right. So a lot of questions come up on what does the money go towards? And this is a very good summary, although it's not an all-inclusive list of everything that is contributed to. But this is a good, solid list of what you don't see behind the scenes that helps make Scouting a great program. A lot of it has to do with our properties and programming and keeping them fresh and interesting and up to date. Activities that we do throughout the council. Insurance is one of those things that nobody really ever thinks about when you're at your scout meetings and doing all your scout activities, but insurance is extremely important. And a good portion of the funds raised from Friends of Scouting goes towards insurance, and we have to have it. So another part is the communications. Communications get expensive. The mailings that are sent out, the promotions to advertise, the recruitment of new members into Scouts, all of that costs money. And so, if you think about how if you include all of those dollars, they add up quickly. And Friends of Scouting helps support that. Okay. So this is our timeline. We would love to have 100% of our unit presentation scheduled by today, the 15th. I don't think we're there yet, Jason. I think we probably need a couple more weeks to get to that, but
No,
do you have a status update on where we're at?
maybe a couple more days. We have
Oh,
like
okay.
5 or 6 more units that need to give me a date, and I think a bunch of them or a few of them are giving me that tonight. So I think we're sitting pretty good. We're number one right now in the council with that. So that's great. I think we're at 75% or 80% to that. So
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. That's a big jump from the last number I saw. So
yeah.
congratulations to Jason on that.
Thanks for everybody getting me their dates. I appreciate that.
So from here on out, it gets to the season where we do presentations, and there's a number of us that do presentations throughout it. So we'll probably be seeing you soon. We'd love to have all of the presentations wrapped up by the end of April. Really, is when we'd love to have all the presentations complete, so we can have our goals met by the end of May. Okay. Unit incentives this year are different than last year, so pay close attention to here. So base goal. So your each unit has two goals: a base goal and then a stretch goal. The base goal, if that is something that your unit achieves this year, you will receive a free weekend campsite rental. This isn't a building, but a weekend campsite rental for your unit. This can be applied to weekends that you already may have on the schedule. Once you meet your goal, if, say hypothetically you have your presentation tomorrow and you meet your goal and you have something scheduled in March, you can apply that reward to whatever you have scheduled currently. The one thing with this is that these have to be used by the end of the calendar year of 2025. Stretch goal recognition. So you still get the free weekend tent campsite rental, but you also get a free building rental for one night at any Bay Lakes Council property camp, as well as free cloth rank badges with your completed advancement report. One little caveat to this that's not listed is most of the rentals don't open to the public until June 1st, until later in the year. If you achieve your goal and your stretch goal prior to that date, you will have access to fall dates to schedule a weekend before they are opened up to the general public. So, Jason, any details I've missed on this one?
No, I think with the free cloth rank advancement badges, make sure you fill out the advancement report and give that to, I believe, Nikki at the office. We'll be collecting those and then passing those out at the office, not through the scout shop. That's something we're going to do on a little differently than in years past. So we have a little more control over all that.
Excellent. Okay, next slide. Uh, oh,
I'm sorry. There we go.
there you got it. Okay, this is new this year. So a couple of things. Every person that donates at any level, you're going to get a vinyl sticker for Scouting America. I proudly love putting those in the vehicles that we drive, and so that's a nice little perk. And then there is the new 1% Friends of Scouting Club. And what that is you donate 1% of the district goal as you personally, and you are going to get that as a reward to hang on your uniform. So that's a nice little new bonus this year.
Yeah, and I'd say that both of these things we did not have last year. We had some council patches we were handing out, but that we didn't have these things last year. So two new incentives. It's great. The 1%, we're doing $600. 1% is a little for 62.5 is not quite 600, but we're gonna just round it down to 600. So 600 or more will get you a special one of a kind patch. You'll see it on the screen there. That's actually the patch and never to be made again. So it's only going to go to those people and not passed out to anybody else. So just to let you know that some people really like the patches, and we brought that back. We didn't have those last year, our last couple years. We didn't have the FOS patch either. So
Very good. Uh, there's a sample presentation out there. Jason, do they have access to this?
they will when I post it in the link in the FOS link. You'll see this whole presentation will be in there, so you should be able to. I mean, I can play it now, but I think you can kind of give us unless you want me to play it.
No, I don't think that's necessary for this call, but it's just a sample presentation. So for those of you giving presentations and you want just you maybe have never done it or it's been a while since you've done one. This is the basic criteria of what I use when I go through the Friends of Scouting, and it'll, like Jason said, it'll be posted with the website shortly after this.
And maybe you want to touch on the highlights of a presentation, Tom, like.
I think that's on the next
Oh
slide.
yeah, it is. You're right. Let me go back to.
So
There we go.
nope, go back one actually. There we go.
It's from
The one
Tips
with
from
me.
Tom.
It's the action shot of my face as I'm talking.
Yeah, don't look at
So
me. Yeah, I'll put it over your face.
So these are tips that I do. First of all, before you get in there, obviously be prepared. Be clear and as brief as you can. Time is precious, especially in a scout meeting when you have young ones that have been probably in school all day and they're itching to run around, and listening to a long presentation isn't in their best interest. So be brief, and being prepared helps you be brief. Share a personal scouting story. This does not necessarily have to be the presenter doing that. I think it works best if you can get the unit leader or one of the scouts even to share a personal story of them, because it makes it more relevant to the people that you're presenting to. But again, this is important that it's brief. I've heard personal scouting stories that last 15 minutes, and it's too long. Um, Give something with meaning but impact in a short amount of time. Make the presentation interactive. I mean, I always start out with just asking questions and getting the kids excited about what their most relevant, most favorite, and most current scouting memories are. And again, that gets the parents excited and helps remind them of the value that we're bringing in the program. Speak to the costs of scouting. This gives them sort of a baseline of what we're looking for donation. The council invests $444 on average for every scout that goes through our program every year. And so that just gives them a baseline. Do I want to give that full amount? Do I want to give maybe two? Do I want to maybe give half? And so I always like to talk about the costs because it gives concrete examples of what the costs of scouting are. Um, and then once I've taken probably 5 minutes to do that, explain how do you donate? What's the method? I don't have a copy of a brochure here to show on the presentation, but there are brochures that will be at each of your meetings. And the brochure does an excellent job of explaining the multiple options that you have to donate. You can take cash, you can take checks. I generally like to point people towards the QR code so they can donate with a credit card, usually get a little bit more money that way, I think. And plus, it can be done that night right there. And they can give direct to their unit. So I really always emphasize the QR code. I do push for that. But again, we'll take cash, we'll take check. Most people don't write checks anymore, at least not on the spot like that. So and then I always mention the Bay Lakes Society that not all the money has to be given tonight. If you want to give a higher amount, but you're not prepared to do that, look at the monthly option where you can pay monthly. Um, don't forget the employer match. There's a lot of lost dollars, I'm sure, every year just simply because people don't list their employer and sign up for the employer match. I also think it's really important to have the unit leader support this. So I usually will ask the unit leader if they are comfortable with it to mention that they're supporting this as people are filling out their portion of the brochure. My personal experience whenever I did this for my own units, I always pulled out $100 bill, and I always said I'll be the first one to donate $100 to this to the Friends of Scouting, and that's just a real effective way to get people in the charitable mood. So, and then if you are presenting and you're collecting the forms, make sure that you're very timely with Jason on getting that back to him, so we can process checks, get cash in, and all that, and within a timely fashion. So those are my tips.
And on that last point, follow up with your families if they haven't, maybe they didn't attend the FOS presentation, and they know they gave in the past. Try to follow up. It leads me to less work on my end if you can do that research for me, and I can give you data as far as who has donated in the past and give that to you if you want to research that. Sometimes I will, or the unit leader will email the families a few days later saying, thank you for doing the presentation. If you haven't given, here's the link. And then that'll support and then some of the incentives that we have. And that email will go out by either the unit leader or myself a week or so after the presentation. So make sure that is done and coordinate that with me. If you're going to do it, please let me know, because otherwise I'll just push it out there in a few days. So it's something new we're gonna do. All right.
Um,
Thanks, Tim.
this is I won't go over all this in detail. This comes with every packet that goes to all the presenters. But again, these are some nice tips that the council has put together that gives you different examples of how to present, making sure you hit certain touch points within your presentation. Most of these we've covered, but there might be a couple of new ideas that you have on there that you want to do on your own. One at the end there, number 9, I'll highlight that one. I do think that trying to get as much as you can that night does help. I tend to be a little guilty of if someone says, well, can I have more time or can we get more time? And or if the meeting looks like they have a lot on their agenda and they want to get started with it and it's very clear. I mean, I'm not going to push the issue that if I'm not feeling welcome there or it's awkward, sure. I'll follow up in a few days to make sure that families are filling those out. But it is so much more beneficial if you can collect everything that night. We'll be more successful in our campaign. And that's all.
That's all she wrote. Any questions or concerns for the group at this point about FOS or anything, any suggestions we didn't talk about? Uh, Goals will be sent out probably later this week and next week to the units that are starting to do their presentation. I'm going to hit those people first, and then your goals, your space and stretch goal will be presented to you soon. So you'll get that information, or email me if you really need it right away. I can give it to you. Tom and the FOS team here put those goals together, and we look at a lot of different factors as far as past giving, how many scouts you have versus last year versus 2 years ago, and all kinds of other things go into that to get your goals set. So just to let you know that, and I appreciate everything everybody's done for Friends of Scouting and supporting the Bay Lakes Council. And remember, one thing that we didn't talk about, that when you talk in the presentation, make sure you mention, and I forgot to do this last night at my presentation, but say, hey, the national fees do not go to the council. So that $85 does not go to the Bay Lakes Council. It goes to national to help fund national camps, national policies and procedures, national fees, that insurance that way. So that's where that goes. It doesn't go to the Bay Lakes Council. So your support really matters locally with this fundraiser.
That's a very good point. I do always mention that. Thanks for reminding me of that.
Right. Anything else, Matt? You have anything to add? Good.
I think that covered everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. I see Greg's on, Nicole's on. Matt, thank you so much for everything you guys do. I know a lot of you are in the top for Friends of Scouting donations in the past. So I know I'll do a great job, and thank you for everything you've done to support this council and doing this. And I look forward to seeing you around. Anything else, Tom?
That's all for me.
All right, we did it under 30 minutes. Very nice. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the weather this weekend and stay warm.
Jason,
Thank
I do
you.
have a question once you're done recording.
Yeah, okay, hold on. Let me just stop here. Thanks, everybody. You can all drop off if you want. Thank you. Otherwise, email me if you have any questions.